this live, I want to say thank you so much for joining. For those of you who are catching the replay, this happens, like I said before, this happens once a month, the first Saturday of each month. And you can go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter. This way you remember when the next one happens. So what the general format here is, I have basically a live screen set up right now with YouTube and also with Facebook. This is completely live, so you're going to see me kind of looking around and checking a couple of different screens here just to make sure that I am broadcasting to where I expect to be broadcasting to. So, like right now, I'm going to switch over to YouTube just to make sure that YouTube is working. And of course, it looks like YouTube decided not to work. So it's one of these fun things. So let's see what's going on right now with YouTube and see if we can get YouTube to work again. So let's go back to here. And it says Scanner School is live. Okay, so it looks like we are live right now with YouTube. Okay. If you can see me or if you have any questions, the best thing to do is ask in the live chat box. So what happens right now is on the screen over on one of these sides, I'm guessing this side, you can see people who are chatting in YouTube. So right now, Billy, I can see you. How you doing, Billy? Good to see you on again. It's been a while, and hope everything is well and things are going well with the pager. But on the screen, on the streaming screen, you should be able to see the chat from YouTube making its way over the screen. So this way, you guys who are over on Facebook can see what's going on over on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to plug YouTube over to the other side, so the Facebook is going to be isolated. So N2XDD, good to see you on. And it looks like, here we go. Billy, I didn't see your chat show up, but N2XDD, looks like your chat is making its way in here. And D, see you on there as well. Good afternoon. D, I guess you're on the other side. So I guess you're over in the UK or somewhere else. But if you guys have any questions for me, please go ahead and start asking them. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Again, I'll be here for the next half hour. After this half hour, I'm going over to do a Patreon-only live feed. So if my $5 Patreon supporters will be getting an exclusive Q&A just for them as well. And so I'm trying to bring back over here on the Facebook side. Questions for me, please. All right, I don't see anything coming in right now on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. And like I said, I'm here for you guys. And there's got to be a way for me to do this even easier on Facebook. Q&A just for them as well, and so I'm trying to bring back. There we go. All right, I have a Facebook feed up over here, so I do have the ability to bring up a camera overhead, so that I can show you guys some live examples. I can also tie into my Windows computer, so I can show you some live things as well. Of course, we can always ask. So Billy writes in. Love my G5, but sadly I think the PD is going to be switching over to encryption soon. I'm hearing an encryption type garble here and there for my BC536, so only time will tell. Billy, let's take a look at that system if you want in radio reference. So if you want to paste in the chat a link to the DB page in radio reference, we'll take a quick look at it. It could be a simulcast issue. When you look at the G5 side by side with the 536, are you still hearing the garbled transmissions on the G5 or just on the 536? Because I have some ideas on this one, and I want to make sure that I get things correct. Fetch, you're asking, any updates on the new Suffolk County PD system? Right now, nothing really updated. They're still rolling that system out. Again, we're talking about Suffolk County Police in Suffolk County in New York, which is my neighboring county. Right now, nothing really new. I think they're still trying to bring up all the systems over there. They're still playing around with, getting the users over there. One thing, though, that I have noticed personally, though, is that the simulcasting there really is in full force, or in full effect. So what we have going on there is it's a 700 system, 800 system, and there's basically, how long is Suffolk County? It's pretty long, and it's one giant 700 layer and one giant 850 layer across several miles. And what ends up happening is if you listen to, or your radio can hear multiple transmit sites at the same time, the zeros and ones kind of get all screwed up. So what happens is, I believe at the same time, it's transmitting 2 bits, right? 2 zeros and ones in different coordinates. And the older scanners have a really hard time putting these bits and pieces back together again. Whereas radios like the SDS-100 and the SDS-200, they can do that fairly easily. They're built around that. Even your SDR dongles, the $35 dongles can do that really well if you pair it up with a piece of software like DSD Plus. And I've taken out my trusty old 536. Yeah, I'm sorry, my 325. I've even taken out the TRX-1. It's just good planning having us all in reach, right? And I've even taken out my 436. And the one thing I can say is that my Unication G5 and also my SDS-100 play wonderfully on that system. The 325, the 436, and the TRX-1 all have issues locking into the simulcast there. In ranking order, the 325 catches next to nothing. The TRX-1 catches a little bit more than the 325. The 436 catches just a little bit more than that, but the SDS-100 and the G5, they never shut up. So it really is at that point. Once they start rolling over to the simulcast system, you have 2 options here. You can either upgrade into a radio that will support simulcast, such as an SDR, the SDS-100, 200, or the Unication. Now, again, if you guys want Unication, I am a dealer, so I can work out better than advertised pricing for you on that. That's all really I could say about that one before I start violation my agreements with Unication. But yes, I do have some dealer flexibility in the pricing. I just can't advertise it. And come to me directly. So it'd be phil@scannerschool.com, and we can work out some pricing for that as well. Anyway, so I was, the other solution here is really to isolate the other transmitters. So if you have a 325, throw attenuation on, take the antenna off, throw a paper clip on there. I mean, that could work too, just enough to get just the transmitter site that you are closest to or strongest to, and eliminate all of the simulcasts. A good way to think about simulcasting is a way that we can visualize it. If you're old enough like I am, and you remember watching TV that came in as an over-the-air broadcast in the analog days, what would happen if you got in multipath distortion on your video signal, right? You would kind of get side by side. So if you're watching the news, not only would you see the main face of the anchor, but you'd see him kind of like off into the corner as well, a mirror image, slightly set back, slightly ghosting through the picture. So that's kind of like what simulcast is really doing, is you're getting a secondary ghosting picture coming through. And when you have analog, it's not really that big of a deal. When you have slower baud rate like the old Motorola type systems, it's okay. But now that you deal with P25, especially phase 2, when things are even more compressed, QPSK, right, LSM, you got to have something like that. So let's go back while I was on that little explanation on that one. Let's go back to the chat here. So I don't see anything right now. Any questions coming in? Joe Curtis, I see you over there on Facebook. Thanks for joining us. And Joe, congratulations too on winning the free consulting call, or as I'm going to start rebranding it, the free one-on-one tutoring session to try and lock into the Scanner School platform there. So while we're waiting for more questions to come in over on Facebook, let's get over and quickly answer these over here on YouTube. So we have from Billy, goes, love my G5 sale. You think we got that one already. 5x5 in Arizona. Thank you so much. Marching right along. D, Icon PCR 15100. Have you used one? Yes, I have used one. I own one. I might own 2 of them, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I know I have a couple PCRs sitting over here. I might have traded my PCR 100 for a PCR 1000, but I know I have a 1500 as well. Great radios. Unfortunately, software for them is kind of getting to be tough to find. You could stick with the ICOM software. There's also some software out there. PCR, what is it called now? PCR Server and PCR Remote was what I used to use to kind of live stream the audio from there. There's PCR something or other. But there's a Yahoo group for that one. Look at this, my Long Island Italian's coming out. I don't have an Italian, but I'm doing the old thing here. It's a good group, and if you want, I can look that up for you. If you want to email me, I can give you the information on that one. D, just email me, phil@scannerschool.com, and I'll get you the information on the group for that. So it's a great radio, and the 1500 is nice because it works over USB, whereas the 1000 didn't. That was serial, and then if you want to feed the audio into the computer, you'd have to bring in another audio cable, whereas because the 1500 is pure USB, you can bring the audio right in through that USB connector. Makes it very easy to stream. And I also believe that the 1500 also supported DPL, whereas the PCR 100 only supported PL. So it's a nice little upgrade to go with the BC. Let me see, the PCR, right? PCR 1500. I think that's it now. Too many acronyms in here. So, okay, so let's move on right along here. Billy is saying that the 536 is silent if nothing is transmitting, as is the G5. So, yeah, they both do have muting, like encryption muting turned on in those units. So that's something you could toggle off on the G5 if you wanted to. But to confirm what you're suspecting, but yeah, it kind of might be seeming like they're playing around with some encryption on that one. Mark Marlon had the same question as Fetch, so hopefully he answered that one, and also the 325 and SDS 100. Let's see. Kevin is asking, Kevin, how you doing? I answered your question via another email. I want to look into that one better, the one you submitted last month for Ask Scanner School. So I should have an answer for you on next month's Ask Scanner School. So you're asking on the pagers, can you listen to P25 and or trunk systems on the same pager? Yes. So on the Unication pagers, you can listen to P25 trunking only, right? So I'm sorry, let me back that one up again. The only trunk systems that the G5 will support are P25 systems, right? So you can't put in EDAX, you can't put in Motorola Type 2. You can put in P25 Type 1 and Type 2 systems. I'm sorry, Phase 1 and Phase 2 systems. It's very difficult to make sure I say exactly the right thing here if you haven't, try to make sure I'm clear on all that. So it's very important that you realize that it can only be a P25 trunking system for trunking in the G series Unication pagers, excluding the G1, which is analog only. You can listen to conventional P25 in that pager as well. You can also listen to straight analog trunking. Straight analog conventional in the G5. One thing to note, though, in the G series pagers, I meant G5. When I say G5, I mean all the G series minus the G1. So this includes G2, G3, G4, G5. You can't do conventional and trunking at the same time. You can only do conventional or trunking. You can mix analog and P25 conventional, but you can't mix conventional and trunking. You also can't mix multiple trunk systems in the pager. It's got to be just one trunk system. You can have multiple transmitter sites, but only one system. Okay, it's very important to realize that the G series pagers, they're pagers. So when you're operating and using them as if it was a pager, you would only be on one system. All right, and you wouldn't be flip-flopping back and forth. Now, you can program in multiple scan lists in the pager, and what you can do, and what I've done in mine is, say I have position 1 will do my local department's selective call, right? Tone and vibrate. The next one will do a monitor mode. The next one will flip over to the trunk system and monitor the Medcom channels. The next position will do the Medcom channels and fire marshals, and then it flips back into conventional mode to go over and listen to the rest of the battalion that I'm in. When I go to the next county over, then I'm listening to the P25 system, and I can bring in the PD. I can bring in some fire in there as well. If they were ever simulcasting on it, I can bring in other stuff as well. So you just got to remember it's conventional or trunking, and only one trunk system at a time. Let's see. We have far too many gadgets. Boy, I like that screen name a lot. I think I really like that one a lot. My Uniden SDS 100 misses some transmissions on the York County, PA simulcast, but my older Pro 668 does not. Interesting. I'm about 200 yards from a tower site. However, for Adams County, the SDS does better. That's a good one, because I just looked into the, this is York County, PA. I'm thinking Bucks County, PA. So let's take a look at that. Let me go ahead and bring up a tab here, and let's go to radio reference. And let me see if I can bring over Chrome. Media source is going to be, whoop, it's not going to be that. Let's see. I got it. Well, this is all messed up over here. So let's add this. Let's add browser. And we're going to bring in. Is that a browser? No, new browser. That's not it either. Hold the phone. All right, I think I just froze it. There we go. That's not right. Let's bring in a window. Remove. Add. Window capture. There we go. Chrome browser. All right. I'm just readjusting this here. Okay, so we're just gonna bring this over really quick. Transition. All right, things are a little bit out of order here, a little bit, but let's roll through this really quick and take a look. And sorry for the flashing back and forth. For some reason, this software likes to refresh. So we're gonna go to Adams County real quick, and I'm assuming this is Adams County. What do we say it was? New York. Adams. Right, maybe it was York. York County P25 Phase 2 system. Simulcast, north, south, central, west simulcast systems all in here. If I highlight, yes, you can see I can highlight. These are all TDMA. So this is a complete Phase 2 system on here. So I would say make sure that you have in your SDS 100 that you've got each one of these set up correctly. Right, each transmitter will be set up independently. That you have your system and your Wacom set up correctly in here as well. And it's a good thing that's not a bra size in there, huh? And you should be able to pick things up on the SDS 100. What I'm suspecting on your 668 is maybe you just don't have a simulcast issue, and it's able to pick it up. Are you far enough outside the county where maybe the 668 is able to pick something up and be able to decode it? The other thing I notice here is this is a Harris P25 trunk system. I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I know some radios have had issues monitoring a Harris P25 system. So you may want to jump on the radio reference as well and see if that's going to be an issue. And I'll look into that as well. I'll dump into radio references forums later on, and I'll try and follow up with you. So again, if you want to email me, again, phil@scannerschool.com, and I'll take a look at that as well. So let me just double check over to my Restream chat over here and transition over. Boy, it looks like that this Restream now has gotten really big, hasn't it? Let's see if I can fix this real quick on the fly. Bring this down, bring this up. For some reason, this didn't get locked. And I'm going to lock. It is locked. And transition. All right, so there we go. Let me bring my browser back up over here so I can see the chat. All right. And we got to keep an eye on the time, guys, too, because at 11:30, bottom of the hour, I'm going to swap over to my Patreon-only stream. So my Patreon supporters will get their own feed as well over there. So there's still nobody over here on Facebook asking any questions. Thank you, YouTube, for being there today. Let's see. I'm on the far right border between both counties. Okay, so let's take a quick look again while we're doing this. So I'm going to bring over this system here and try and share the screen again. Chrome. Transition. All right. So you're on the border. Let's take a look at the border here. All right, so we're going to get a geography lesson now. There's York, and there's Adams. Boy, it's good that I didn't start from this corner, huh? So you were saying that you are behind the scenes, guys. 4 right of the border between both counties. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. So you're kind of right here between the two of them. Yeah, that could explain. If you're in Adams County and you're picking up York, you could be isolating yourself more the simulcast as well. So now what's also neat too, if we come in here to York County and we start looking at some of these simulcasts, right, we're going to pick the west. And if we select on it, we can actually see, right, this is the geography it's saying that it's covering. And also we should be able to get a map of the transmitter locations, right? Boom, 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 boom. So according to Radio Reference, these are the location transmitter sites of that west system, the west simulcast. So right up against this border. See that? So they're covering that, and you will have bleed over into the border very nicely from these transmitters as well. So it could be that's why you're able to, maybe you're picking up at certain different times, different things. But I'm not sure why your STS 100 isn't really doing any well on that one. Try hitting the attenuator on that as well. Oh, here's another option for you. Turn on the filters on the SDS 100. I've been reading in PAs. I was looking at something for the Bucks County system. I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but the Bucks County system, somebody had mentioned that they turned on the filters on the SDS 100, and that helped them tremendously with picking up the system. So that might be a big help as well. So I'm just going to go over here and transition over on this side as well so that I can get a better glimpse of the chat. All right. Let's see. Kevin says, any website to easily find SDR broadcasts online? Yeah, we actually just got one in from the other day from James Peruta. Actually commented this one on his question. So it's a website called Open Megahertz. So let's go ahead and jump over there really quick. And I'm going to go ahead and swap streams on you again. So Chrome. And we'll transition over. So this is a very interesting website called Open Megahertz. And basically what it allows people to do is there's a piece of software that he developed called Trunk Recorder. And it allows you to really stream from Unitrunker into Trunk Recorder. And what you can actually do is if you click on Listen, it basically does... What happens on the user side is, I believe the way it works is it will record the talk group and then just rebroadcast that talk group onto the system. So you can actually come into here, and again, this is a brand new website to me. I wasn't really aware that it existed till last week, but we could do Berks County, PA. I mean, that's close enough, right? I don't know. And we can keep going through here and see what's here. York County Public Safety, right? Don't know York County ME. So yep, that's Maine. That's the wrong York County in there. And unidentified Chester County. So let's just go ahead and pick the first one we saw up here. So this way you get an idea. 2.9 calls per minute. Let's pick a busier one. 13 calls a minute. So why does it say pro? So anyway, so you pick a group here, right? And you click listen, and now it's going to filter out just all these MTPD calls. So This is a good way of doing that. I'm not sure if there's a way to actually see if you can control somebody's SDR. If there's a website that actually does that, but that would be pretty cool if there was something that did that. So I don't know if you're able to hear the calls coming through, but there's actually calls coming through right now on that website. So I'm actually going to turn that website off so that I can concentrate on this a little bit better. Nick asks, how can you simply describe how to program systems or talk groups into the SDS 100 and 200? It looks like it's just a favorites list. Am I correct on this one? D, good to see you. And then let's see, Gary, may not have enough time in this episode, but please consider discussing how to use close call. I've got the SDS 100, and I think close call does not work with P25 systems. All right, Gary, I'm going to go to your question first, and then Nick, you'll be the last question of this this session today, because we're kind of running into the 5-minute wall here, and I want to make sure that I'm not late for my Patreon $5 supporters. Now, again, guys, if you want to jump over to the Patreon, for those of you who are the $5 supporters, if you actually join Patreon right now, you'll get the link immediately on how to follow us over on Patreon. You can do that at scannerschool.com/support. I believe at the lower third down below. There it is. It's rolling through right now. So, close call. We did... I really got to do a full episode on how close call works if I haven't done so already. But yeah, it won't work on P25 trunk systems because the transmitters are all located at any distance, right? So there's no, unless you're really up and close to the transmitter site, I don't believe close call is actually going to lock in on it, to be honest with you. I've never actually tried that myself. I use close call basically to find any conventional radios that are close by. Now, you didn't call it close call. Whistler calls it Signal Stalker, I believe, or Spectrum Sweeper. And Spectrum Sweeper is supposed to work a whole lot better than close call, to be honest with you. With close call, you really have to be like right on top of the transmitter. So for a good example for me with close call is with the traffic helicopters, I'm about 8 blocks away from the parkway. If there's a major accident on the parkway, I may occasionally see a traffic helicopter hovering overhead. If I click on the close call for that, I'll then be able to, as soon as that helicopter kind of keys up, because I'm line of sight to him, boom, I'll hear that. As well as I've used close call very frequently. There's a Marine Corps demo that comes in during Fleet Week here in New York City, and I'm able to actually lock in on the helicopter demo before they fly overhead because they're talking to their radio comms guys who are actually on the landing zone. And makes it really cool just to be able to hit close call and hear them before they actually fly in overhead to know when they're coming in. So close call, basically what you want to do is there's this close call button here on the hold button, and if you hit function and then hold, that's going to enable close call. It's going to put a little bullseye in on your scanner, and it can really drive you nuts too, because if you get stuck in close call only mode, then you're only going to hear close call. If you have close call, close call do not disturb me, so I'm going to do close call when there's nothing on the frequency you're actively monitoring during scan mode. Priority means that it's only going to do close call, and then regular close call is going to, every once in a while, is going to look for a close call signal. So you can get that picket fencing all the time. We could touch on to this question later on because I want to make sure I go over and answer Nick's question before we split for the Patreon only group. I'm watching the clock. I have less than 3 minutes to answer this one. So here we go. How to program systems or talk groups into the SDS 100 and 200. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a system. That system can have any name. You can call it countywide trunking. In there, you're going to put your sites. Those are your transmitter sites. And in there, right, so that's separate. You're going to have your system. You're going to have sites. But you're also going to have up here, you're going to have groups. Groups. Everything's backwards on my screen. And or departments. That's what you're going to call like police department. And then in there, you'll put in your frequencies or your talk systems. So it is a favorites list within a favorites list, basically. And what I recommend doing is creating a favorites list that would be for PD. And then in that favorites list, you would put the trunk system in there. And then also in that favorites list, you would put in the talk groups you want to listen to. Make a second list up for fire. Make a second list, another list up for EMS or anything like that. That may slow up your scan rate because every time it goes through the favorites list, it's going to have to relock into your control channel and do a scan on the system. So if you know you're always going to want to do fire and police and EMS at the same time, then make up a favorites list and call that one local county public safety. And then within that list, though, you can actually turn off the groups if you want to do it that way. So for sake and ease of use on my end, I just program in each agency I want to listen to as its own favorites list. Makes it really easy for me to toggle things off and on. But as far as increasing the speed on how to program up the scanner, that's, you want to put everything kind of together and separate it out with groups. So I actually talked about how to do this in a DMA scanner. I'm looking through my list here. On session 65. What I haven't done yet, though, is I haven't followed that up with how to program up the best way to program a home patrol scanner. But if you listen to a recent one here, a consulting call with Lou Carollo, session number 88. Lou and I talked also about programming up his system as well on on a home patrol type of radio. So again, we've got no questions coming in on Scanner School on the Facebook, unless if there were questions coming in here. I am sorry, it never refreshed on my end. I just see that Joe Curtis has joined the call. So I do apologize if anybody asks a question over on Facebook. I just don't see them coming in, though you guys over here on YouTube are awesome. So with that, I am going to, let's see if I can click on this and transition. Oh, it's so nice how it's not working. Let's see if I can get this to do this one more time. Double click over here, closing credits. I want to click on this. There we go. All right. So before we scroll out of here or get out of here, I also want to thank all my Patreon supporters that have been supporting the podcast. If you listen to the bonus episode, you know it takes a couple $100 a month actually to keep this podcast going. So I want to thank everybody who has been supporting us. Even those of you who are buying through our affiliate links through Amazon, Scannermaster, Butel, really appreciate you guys doing that as well. That's a great way to help us out and help keeping the podcast and all this stuff going. So every little bit helps. And also we have a PayPal donation as well. So for those of you who are going to follow me over on Patreon, we'll start that live feed in just a moment. I really have to cough, so I'm going to get a drink of water and then start off the Patreon feed. So over here on the side, getting used to the reverse image over here is where to find me. And with that, I want to say thank you all so much for joining us. We'll do this again next month. Again, if you have any questions for me in the meantime, be sure to submit them via our SpeakPipe or our phone number. You can go to scannerschool.com/ask. I will answer those questions on next month's Ask Scanner School. I do have a scheduling issue for next month, so I need these questions in early. Okay, these questions need to be in to me a little bit early so that I can do what it is I have to do with the podcast, get it edited, get it staged so that I can take care of some personal stuff at the end of the month. I won't have an opportunity to publish that podcast if it comes in late. So any questions I didn't get a chance to answer this month, or this month on the live, I do apologize for not being able to get there fast enough for you. If you're catching us on a replay, thank you so much for being there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you know when we do this again next month. And ask your questions. That's what I'm here for. Subscribe to the podcast, etc., etc. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for joining me here, and I will catch you guys over on Patreon for those of you who are following me over there. My name is Phil Lichtenberger. Again, thanks for joining us on Scanner School. We teach you everything that you need to know about the scanner radio hobby. 73, everyone. Thanks again.